Welcome everyone to our special UNC sports debate where we gather our sports fanatics at Bear News and discuss all the hottest topics around the world. I'm Sophia Tavanello and I will be the moderator for today's show. Conlon made this look fun, so I wanted to give it a crack. Joining me today, we have Seth DiMarino, Jalen Lee, and Jamison Rembert.
How you guys doing today?
What's up, everybody?
What's going on?
Yeah, so how you guys been doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. It's great to be back. I'm excited to talk some basketball with you guys.
Yeah, I've been waiting to get back up here.
Especially excited to talk about the Nuggets last night.
Well, is that where we're starting, Ms. Moderator?
We are, and so this is our third sports debate. And if you haven't seen our past shows, it's very simple. Our analysts are given 3 topics to discuss, and each one will take around 5 minutes. And one of the men up here will start us off to say their piece on the topic. They are allowed to interject and give their thoughts on the topic if they please. We have done well in the past couple of shows at keeping it civil, and I have full confidence it'll be the same today. So, you guys ready to debate?
Let's get to it. Let's get to it.
All right. Our first topic is about the Denver Nuggets and the team's performance since spring break. Since the 15th, the Nuggets are 4-5 and have lost to teams like the Wizards, Trailblazers, Bulls, and most recently the Timberwolves. And how concerned are you guys with the Nuggets as of late, and how far will they go to come playoff time?
Well, I think it's not good that the Nuggets have had a bad stretch like this, but as long as you have Jokić on the team, I think they'll be fine heading into the playoffs. But when you need other players to step up, and you need to think like Jamal Murray, MPJ, Aaron Gordon, you'd like to see those guys come alive more.
For sure.
Yeah.
Can't disagree with you there. It's not exactly ideal, but I think that them getting to play the Grizzlies in round 1 is kind of good for them. I mean, they just fired their coach. They haven't looked that great. So if we're going to struggle now, it's good that we get to play a team like that in the first round. That's what it's looking like right now. But I think they can still go all the way. They have the best player in the world, the MVP, I think.
I agree.
I'm actually going to take a different look at it. I will say that, yes, Jokić is the best player. I will change my MVP race a little bit. But as it comes to playoff implications, I will say that the Nuggets have a long journey ahead of them. You know, they can't just keep putting the weight on Jokić and hoping that he can perform. Dropping 60 and still losing to the Wolves, it's good for Jokić, but it's not good for the team.
Yeah.
They are third in the West behind the Thunder, who just recently won their last 10. And Jalen Green is second with the Rockets on an 8-2 run. So I definitely feel like they have a big competition for the top spot. And they also have the Lakers and the Warriors approaching soon. So I don't know if they'll be top 3, but I do think they'll make the playoffs.
For sure.
Okay. And, the team, there's been kind of debate that they've been playing very inconsistency, whether it be because of injuries or because Joker isn't there. What do you guys think of the inconsistent playing?
Yeah, I think it's worth noting that MPJ and Jamal both didn't play yesterday, and they still kept up with the Wolves. Obviously had their chance to win at the end. Some would argue that Russell Westbrook had a slight intervention with that.
Yeah,
but I think that they can beat anybody, but it is like we mentioned earlier, scarier that they're losing to the Bulls or the Trailblazers or teams like that. I feel like real playoff contenders shouldn't be losing to teams like that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Title contenders, I think they can be, but first off, they need everybody healthy. MPJ, Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray. I mean, they've got a really talented roster, but they haven't played that much together. Hopefully, they can get it figured out before it gets too serious.
Yeah, I'll just say, they have a lot to work on, as I've said before, but I definitely feel that once the Nuggets, they're the type of team that once they have their groove and they're in motion and they know what they're doing, they're a very hard to beat team. And so I would love to see that happen, but, like you said, they are inconsistent. We haven't seen it happen lately. So they need
One more thing I'd like to add: when the Nuggets are their best is when Jamal Murray is playing at his best, when he's out there tormenting the Lakers and doing his thing.
Yeah, and so right now their standings, they're in third, and they are projected to play Memphis. What do you guys think of that playoff match?
I like the matchup against Memphis, honestly.
Yeah.
I think it's a good matchup for
Memphis is not having a good year. They fired their coach. I mean, they are the 6th seed, but I don't think that they're playing where they thought they were being, and there's all these clips coming out about whether it's Ja or Jaren Jackson talking about how it's been a little bit disappointing and whatnot. So I think that a team like that that's not surging towards the playoffs is a good team for them to play in the first round.
Yeah.
The Grizzlies are a good team. They are a really good team. John Morant is an athletic freak. What can I say? It will be definitely a great matchup. I do think that John Morant could put up a good fight, but Nuggets in 5. Nuggets in 5.
Nuggets in 5.
Nuggets in 5.
Well, is there anything else you guys are wanting to talk about on the Nuggets, or you guys think we can move on?
I think we're ready to get into college basketball.
Yeah, let's get it.
The college basketball. Well, the NCAA basketball tournament is close to ending as the Final Four matchups for the men and women brackets are set. The men's bracket have all number 1 seeds facing each other. Auburn will play against Florida, and Duke will be facing Houston. The women's will have UCLA and UConn face off, while South Carolina will play against Texas. For the teams remaining, who you guys picking to win?
Guys, go ahead.
You want to start it off?
Yeah, I got you. So for the men's Final Four, obviously we got to go with Duke. Duke is putting on a great fight this year, and they're getting led by the freshman Cooper Flagg. Now, Cooper Flagg is averaging 18, 5, and 3 as a freshman playing against super seniors. Let that stand out. Nobody has been able to stop him. Even Arizona and Alabama, they had a game plan to literally just solo Cooper Flagg. And he, I wouldn't say he was shut down, because he still, at the end of the day, accounted for 47 points. One person accounted for 47 points. So, I mean, he has the whole world in front of him, and I definitely feel like Duke will be taking it to, the championship.
Yeah. I'll piggyback off that. I think it'll be Duke and Florida in the championship game. I don't really know who to choose, but what I do know is Cooper Flagg is going to go number 1 if he doesn't come back. Remember, he reclassed. He's supposed to be a senior in high school, and he's by far the best player in college basketball. It's insane. Makes me feel old.
It's crazy.
But, yeah, Duke versus Florida, Walter Clayton Jr., bucket. He's shooting like 45% from 3. I don't know if you guys watched the Texas Tech game, but he took over down the stretch. They're a really good, really well-rounded team. So that's who I have in the final. I don't know. I think it'll be close. Hard to choose Duke after their recent. I mean, they've not been a great tournament team in history, but hey, they could turn around. And then I've got UConn versus South Carolina on the women's side, and I think UConn's going to get it done.
Yeah, like these two, I also had Duke advancing. I also love Cooper Flagg, but I got Auburn coming out of the other side of the bracket, upsetting Florida right here.
I was going to say.
I think that Florida's going to cool down a little bit this game.
Before you go into that, I will say Walter Clayton Jr. is scoring 22.3 points per game.
I understand that.
That man's shooting 44% from the field. One man can shut all that down. Auburn does not have a chance. I'm just going to say that. Auburn.
I agree.
But I'd like to hear what you guys say.
But it's March.
We'll have to revisit this at the next sports debate.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, kind of trailing back to the women's side, South Carolina might be looking for a repeat. What do you guys say about that, especially with their great coach?
Yeah.
I agree. I have UConn personally winning it all, but I would love to see that matchup eventually between those two.
Definitely those two schools. Yeah, like you said, Dawn Staley is a beast. SC is a really good school. I think it'll be a close game. I'm going to go with UConn, though.
I would actually go with South Carolina. I feel like they have a good culture and a good winning culture when it comes to that, especially in these past couple, 3 years. The coach is amazing. She creates a good environment. She grows her players, too, which is a great thing. So I think South Carolina can put up a good fight. So let's see how UConn does, though.
It would have been even more electric if Juju Watkins didn't get hurt.
Oh,
Yes.
that would have been even better.
All right, you guys got anything more to say about your brackets and how March Madness
I will
is playing
say
out?
at the very beginning, chose Florida and Duke. The rest of my bracket has not gone according to plan, but I'm hoping it's Florida versus Duke for bracket
My
nights.
bracket is also already cooked, but I have Duke winning it all. So
I'm actually the odd one out. My bracket's doing really good. I only got, I think, 6 or 7 teams wrong in my bracket, so I'm top 1,000 in the world right now. Yeah.
You know ball.
I know ball.
All right, well. All right, so moving on from March Madness to kind of more Denver games. Broncos general manager DeMary Leach discussed the plans on a new stadium for the Broncos. Many ideas were released, like the potential new location, as well as making the new home for the Broncos a dome. And should the Broncos build a new stadium? And if so, where do you guys think the ideal location will be?
I'm going to go out and say they should not build a new stadium. I like the environment downtown that all the stadiums being close together have. I personally really like the stadium. There's been a lot of great moments. I think there's 76,000 seats, and I understand the whole World Cup argument that is why they might change stadiums, but I don't think they should move. And if they do, I definitely don't think it should be a dome. It's like Buffalo to me, or who else plays in the elements? Minnesota doesn't anymore, but playing in the cold, that's part of coming in and playing in Denver. Yeah, Green Bay. So I don't think it should be a dome. Definitely not.
Especially with Denver being known as the Mile High City,
Yeah.
there's always been complaints about teams having to adjust to
Yeah.
that. And so
Exactly.
probably having that outdoor is an
Exactly.
advantage for Denver teams.
Definitely.
Being at Mile High is an advantage to the Broncos. I'm glad you said that. Just toss my pen. I'm glad you said that because it is an advantage, and it just wouldn't be a Denver Bronco game without the skyline view as the sun goes down and that 2:00 window.
Can't say
Unbeatable.
that I'd like to see any games with no snow. Like that
No.
would be heartbreaking.
Yeah, no,
So,
I don't want them to move either. But if they do, I'd be heartbroken if it was to a dome.
yeah.
Also, I don't know why they want to make a new stadium. I mean, the stadium hasn't even been up for 25 years yet. So it's just kind of out the blue. But I also don't want to see them because I understand Colfax is a pretty rundown, scary part of Denver. But when you think of Colfax, I'm thinking of the stadium. Like that stadium brings culture, it brings life. So why would we want to take away the life of the city?
That's a good point.
I agree.
And especially because, the main 3 locations that Denver is looking at is Centennial, Aurora, or just staying in Denver. And especially with the NWSL bringing soccer to Denver now as well, there's going to be a lot of sports teams. And so, maybe the idea of building maybe just one stadium and not moving the Broncos. What do you guys think of that? And just building a new stadium.
Yeah, I would be game for that. I think. Like you said, they're all so close together, and I think the new NWSL stadium is going to be kind of far. So.
It's going to be off of Santa Fe.
Yeah. So I don't think there's definitely not a need to build 2 more. So. What do you
I
guys
think
think?
just building one more would be fine. Yeah.
And
need all
especially with the
that.
new stadium, it could bring a lot more culture to
Yeah.
Denver, but
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
not in Denver, maybe outside of Denver. You mentioned the World Cup, WrestleMania,
Yep.
and maybe even hosting a Super Bowl.
That would be super cool.
I think
That
that's
would be cool.
because it is hard to host a Super Bowl with the outside stadium, and bringing a Super Bowl to Colorado would honestly be one of the greatest things that we've done in a while. So, yeah, I could see both sides, but
Yeah.
when you think of Denver, you think of our climate, like our Denver weather, and that's what helps us in a lot of games. The ball won't kick farther, the players run out of breath sooner. Like those are what you have to deal with coming to Denver.
Yeah.
So why would we take that away?
I agree.
I also agree.
What do you think about maybe building a dome stadium or just really keeping to the weather, like you said, and kind of using that to Denver's advantage? Or would you guys like the dome or the retractable dome? a lot of
That
stadiums?
would be pretty cool, but that's also a lot of money to make one
Yeah.
of those things. Are you talking about like just a dome in general in Denver, or
What do you guys think?
Absolutely not.
No
I I would love to see the weather. just
Snow
be
games are the
prime- yeah,
best.
Yeah.
So just for that, definitely not a dome.
Awesome. All right. Is there anything else you guys would like to mention about possibly a new stadium, a new dome, a new location?
The Broncos got that Walmart money now, so they got to spend it on something.
They got to.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for this debate and having me as your monitor. It was nice hearing you guys' insights up here. I
Yeah.
can see why Colin likes doing
No,
this.
thank you
Little
for
change of
joining
pace.
us.
Thanks for
Yeah,
joining us.
it's great.
Yeah, all right. Well, I am Sophia Tavanello. I'm with Seth, Jamison, and Jalen. Thank you so much for watching our sports debate, and we'll see you next time.